hands in the sky. The brothers in the back shooting traps now, what's up? Committee pity the fool that act shitty in the midst of the calm, the witty. New Jerusalem, get the poop. Shaolin, get the poop up. Long Isle, get the poop up. Worldwide, get the poop up.
Kind of like just talking, and all of a sudden we just started to geek out into a real serious geekgasm, you know? Where
Geekgasm?
I'm serious. I had a geekgasm, me. Alright, so yeah, you know, it's one of those things where sit next to you and say, hey, don't get too close, buddy. No. Alright, so and we also can see it too. So it's excellent. Well, welcome everyone to the new Geekgasm. I mean, for those of you who actually been watching our title sequence, as you can see, I don't know if you've seen it.
It's got,
you know, it was a little kind of like hip-hop-y.
Yeah, it's got a nice little geeky edge to it as well.
Yeah. But I had to go back and re-edit. So there's a radio edit of the new opening on this show, just for you and the people who complained. So, welcome to the Geekgasm. As you know, I'm the hijacker, and we have another new guest here with us today, and this is the technologist.
Thank you very much.
And the reason why, you know, because I mean, you know, I like to say that this is going to be finally our first Uber Geek show, because we usually talk about films and old films and everything like that, but as it says on our tin, you know, we will eventually talk about comic books and TV and downloads. So in talking to my man James here, you know, as you will find out very quickly.
I think we've got to put a warning on before this one, just sort of like going, just warning, but we'll be very geeky, very comic book.
Yeah, I'll do this from time to time.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Or we'll have an ultra geek splatter.
Yeah,
right. That's what I'm looking for.
Side of something that's coming up, kind of like thing. It'd be great. It may need footnotes for certain bits as well if relating to certain issues.
Yeah, you know, binary code, hieroglyphics, that kind of thing. So we're going to talk about comics, and what we're going to do is that we usually just journey, you know, back and forth. We don't really have a script here, you know, as we're both fans of the man Kevin Smith, but we decided that we'll start off talking about the new 52 as well as Marvel Now. So first of all, let's hit it first with your favorite, which is the new 52.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's the new Batman. It's the new Batman, which is absolutely amazing. It's considering the debacle which I thought The Dark Knight Rises was, which is going to get a lot of flaming at the moment after that comment, I think the new Batman, what they've done with the new Batman was just so amazingly well done for what they've done. Few niggles, few problems, I think, but I think the way they made Bruce Wayne come back kind of like youngish and got Damian into the fold straight away, who my favourite Robin of all time.
Well, my complete favorite is Damian, you know, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about how Bruce Wayne came back to life by traveling time after being blasted by the Omega rays from Darkseid.
We don't have to worry about it.
Let's just say he's back.
He's back.
And he's back better than ever. Yeah. And, you know, let's talk about the Bat family though, because that's what I really love. Is kind of like there's some issues where, you know, I don't remember the exact one, but where Bruce had the boys sit down together and they were supposed to watch his favorite film, which was The Master Sword. And like, you know, it was family night, and you know, the comic, you know, no action, but it was just kind of like the tension, especially between Damian and Dick and you know, Tim and everything, and I just thought it was fantastic, you know, seeing the Bat family, the men, you know, together, and there was even another issue, or was that the same one where they did the family portrait? Did you see that one?
Was this before the reboot? No, it was.
This is, I believe, it was before the reboot. Before the reboot, because really that's the world for me. Before the reboot, or before the third.
No, it's DC, so I think.
You know, if you count the multiverses of reboots. Let's put it this way. Yeah, it's before the reboot. Why? Did you just started reading Batman now, or?
No, I mean I've read Batman since I was sort of like 2000. Away from 1988, I started, you know, read.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's where the true fandom is in the original readers and fans.
And that's what I mean. You've got to look at sort of like the entire Batman history, and they've taken some of the really good bits and kind of like got rid of the stuff that didn't make sense, like the whole Batman coming back from the death kind of thing. That's really being rebooted.
Yeah.
They got rid of some of the really nasty stuff that kind of like lingered a little bit in the dark, and that's one of the good things to think about the reboot is they have got rid of some of the history that kind of like stagnated.
Well, yeah, but remember, this is history that's 70 to 80 years old. This is history that's 80 years old. You know, when you talk about let's just get rid of Grandpa, you know, it's kind of insulting in a way. I mean, because some people have been watching. I mean, like my uncle who got me into comics, he had a massive, you know, collection. He still does, actually. You know, he still tunes into Jim Hanley's universe. You know, so it's a disrespect in that time to all of those original stories. But beyond all of that, you know, I mean, the Bat family as it exists today, I mean, you already said that you loving Damian and you're liking the stories. I mean, to me, it was kind of like when they retconned this particular universe into Year 52. You know, it was at a bad time for Batman because that's when Grant Morrison just created the Batman Incorporated.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to Damian? What's going to happen to Batman Incorporated? That means what's going to happen to the Black Batman? You know, Batman. What's going to happen to all those cool? Remember that suit when he came back? And he was in that like super suit that we never heard nothing about. I think it was called the Void or whatever, and he could teleport and all kind of stuff. That suit just disappeared. I mean, what's up with that? I mean, you know, well, where'd it go? I mean, so it only just shows that Batman could really kick some ass. You know, I mean, you know, what was that Irish guy called? Brother Eye and all that? I mean, Batman is a killer. But, you know,
he's not a killer.
He's not a killer. Damian's a killer.
But that, I mean, that's a whole.
So did you, when we talked before, did you see the new issue of Batman and Robin?
I haven't seen the very latest issue.
Well, I'm going to tell you about it. The new issue of Batman and Robin. Spoilers. Well, first of all, you know, I mean, you know, Bruce, you know, first of all, you just figured, I know he's your son and all, but this kid he's mad. He's showing the audience that he's a killer. I mean, you know, this is the kind of kid who like pulls the wings off of flies and, you know, has dead cats around. So Bruce is going to do something about it, you know, and what do you think he's going to do?
But I think Bruce is going to do what Bruce does, and that's always take it to the extreme, so he's going to send him away somewhere.
Where's he going to send him?
Lady Shiva, get him to train him.
Now that would have been nice. But that happened to Robin. That happened to Tim Drake, and it worked for him. But no, where else is he going to send him? What does Dad do when Dad is upset with you? He said,
"Go on, he's ruining it."
you kicked the kid. No, don't worry about it.
Sorry.
You know.
Right, I'm going to step aside.
Yeah.
Step away from it.
Alright. So, what does Dad do?
I'm just trying to think. What's extreme things? Send him to prison.
So what happens here?
17 Titans.
What happens here, James, is like what happens with the guys in the chair is eventually. You know, we're all geeks, and what it eventually is, we try to challenge one another.
Right, okay.
What we call the Geek Challenge.
Right, okay.
All right, so you just make a guess. We in the audience read the book already, but you make a guess. What do you think Dad would do? You know, I can't handle it.
Well, I mean, a traditional father sort of like would, you know, take the kid and sit them down and kind of like explain to him the rights and wrongs of what he's doing, ground and put some active punishment.
Tried to do that, but Damian doesn't sit still.
No,
Damian gets on his bike, he puts on a different costume.
Yeah, and he goes.
You know, did you see the new costume he put on? Oh, damn, you're really behind.
I am really behind. As I said, I collect the trade paperbacks.
Yeah, you're waiting for like the 7 issues.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so, you know, Bruce tells Damian, you're grounded, right? You have to like sit still. And then Damian goes, okay, you could ground Robin, but you can't ground Redbird. So he got a new outfit.
Okay.
And he goes out, and then Bruce dresses up as Matches Malone, right? To, you know, go out to the new latest mystery and get kidnapped. Well, you know, he's caught. And then he has to get saved by the Batman Incorporated.
Right.
And everything. And Redbird shows up, and then there's a new member of the Batman Incorporated. Who's this? and it's somebody calling himself the Wingman, right? And so on the cover, which you'll see when you go to the app or whatever it is, Wingman and Redbird, and like so who's Wingman? And so Redbird is like, hey, I recognize your voice, or da-da-da-da. And so that's a little mystery running along. Anyway, so they save Batman and everything like that, and he decides to send the boy to his mother.
Oh, Talia. Why is it
Talia is revealed as the big bad.
Well, yeah, no, that was always good. That was always coming at the end.
All right, you already knew that Talia was the Leviathan then. Anyway, so yeah. So
why would he send her back to Talia? I mean,
because
Talia
he feels he
can't.
Yeah, look, dude. That is what guys do. Look, man, look, I tried. Furious did it in Boys in the Hood. Tried. I gotta send it to your mom. And he's like, no.
I'm not having that. You've got a guy there who dresses up his young son in a freaking flamboyant costume, gets some shots out and everything, but I defy that's reality to me. What isn't reality is he sent it back to Talia. That makes Robin doesn't want him hanging out either, so they're all at their wit's end. That would be like Superman sending Crypto to Sod for a week. That is kind of like what I would be. It's just, it makes
We'll see how it goes. Because he's not gone yet, but that is what he said. I'm gonna send you to your mother, and the new wingman is Jason Todd.
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd is invited back into the family, and that is why they were upset. He's like, "How can you have him? He's a fucking murderer, man!" And then it's like, "No, son."
They had to get Jason Todd back into the Bat family somehow for the next one, which is the Return of the Joker, which is Death in the Family.
I know, and then we got the whole big they got the whole big crossover and everything. So even though Jason Todd is still, also Red Hood was the Red Hood and the Outlaws, but yeah, you're right about that. But now Jason Todd is back in the family, and Damien is about to be shipped off to mommy, and so that is what the latest. And I haven't revealed anything because I read it and it came out last week.
There we go. I'm just behind.
Sorry about that. Your trade back hopefully doesn't make anything.
But this is what the reboot is really good, because what I like about it is the stories have still remained strong. That's what I've always liked about Batman. With the Crow of Owls story that they did. The detective work was so good, and at the breakthrough. I mean, I was a fan of Sherlock when it comes out.
Yeah.
Those bits with Sherlock kind of breaks it down. It was like what I love about comic books is you can have things like that. So as Bruce is falling out, gets kicked out of that window, and he's falling down, he's kind of like he's already analysing all the bits going down. That's what I love about Batman.
Well, have you seen now that the Court of Owls has now brought us a new superhero? Talon. And Zero.
Which is so.
What I loved about the Court of Owls storyline is that they brought in the crossover into the New 52, and they managed to cross over, the Batman series and the Court of Owls, right? Yeah. And the Court of Owls with the All-Star Western.
And
I thought that was just fantastic. It was ingenious. I mean, they probably put them in the Demon Knights as well. I don't know. But, it was really good. So, and looking at the whole, New 52, what I want to get to is, are you not up to date on the second year?
No, not completely up to date.
Because, that's what I had wanted to talk about, because I am really enraged about the new Green Lantern. The new Islamic Green Lantern. Now wait a minute. I'm not enraged because he's the new Islamic in Green Lantern. That's not why I'm enraged. I'm enraged because on the cover, and I love Jeff Johns. I think Jeff Johns is freaking genius, right? On the cover, Green Lantern's got a gun. All I see is a black man in a ski mask with a gun pointing at me. Now, why? What's that all about? He doesn't even use a gun in the book. You know what I mean? Now, somebody tried to say on the board, it was because, something goes wrong with his ring, or, he's got to get used to it. No. What's that all about?
I'm at a disadvantage there. I've got no aspect what it's
all right, you see the image.
I've seen the image, and honest to God, when I saw it, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even see a black guy with a gun staring at me. I just saw a Jeff Jones cover and kind of it was the Green Lantern, and I thought that was good. But I mean, I can understand where you're coming from.
Well, I mean, you know, there was rage about it, but then he just was able to wash over it in the online boards, and I just didn't think. They said, well, it will be explained later, like a powerless ring. Now, what's cool about it is I read issue 1, then they get explained, but at least issue 1 ended with the Justice League coming to kick his ass. Right? Now, I'm looking forward to episode 2. But in that aspect, I still don't understand the gun. I don't. I mean, it might look kind of cool, but it just wasn't great. You know, that's all I gotta say. It just wasn't great.
I don't understand what.
And you know what? Jeff Johns is Lebanese.
Yeah.
So he's trying to, well, half Lebanese, but he's still Lebanese. He's trying to say, look, I wanted to do a hero that I could relate to and everything else like that. You know, so he's bringing that part of his culture out to show that he's not racist. But either way, you still got a black man with a gun.
Is it?
Who's probably turned white.
Is it the great? Oh, that would go really well.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Do you know? But is he an American? Is he an American Islamist? Is he from an Islam country? Or
he's from an Islamic country. His family is Islamic, but he grew up in America. So him and his sister were kids during 9/11. So it was supposed to be about the fact that hey, look, we're Americans too because we grew up here, and when the towers were down, we felt the pain. But just because of our family history, my father, all that kind of stuff. They got bullied at school, and they had to, seek comfort with each other. So now that he was a grown man, he found himself in with the wrong crowd, and he eventually, where the book starts, he finds himself in a van with a bomb. I understand where Jeffrey's going. It just doesn't make sense.
You know,
it doesn't make sense, Jeff. He's driving a suicide van and he blows up a factory, and he ends up in jail and everything, and he's got no fear, so the ring goes to him.
And it makes sense. Now, I'll be honest. I am one of the worst people for sort of like blind reading stuff that should be in there. I mean, the only one where I was kind of like really apparent about what the comic book was saying behind it was there was a special edition of Spider-Man that came out after 9/11. And
firefighters and all that.
That was the very first time I kind of like read the underlying, and I really noticed about the back page. It had all the firefighters on the front and all the superheroes in the back.
Here are the real heroes.
And that was the first time I kind of like realized that I was talking. But that was really in your face and obvious doing that. I never really, like the stuff there. I wouldn't see it was an Islamist guy with a bomb there. I'd see it was a guy with a bomb there, and it would take me a couple of readings before I went, oh. Right.
Well, but to think about it, it was pretty obvious. But I mean, it's kind of like it's supposed to be that the story goes into about the family. Like he has a really strong bond with his sister who works for the Secretary of State, and it's supposed to be that like here's a reality, but this guy can still find that he's a hero. Yeah, and everything, and it started out what people think.
It is still a comic book form. It's still not reality. It's still the characters that they portray in that. Yeah. You know what I mean? God, I would love it if I could suddenly make $1 billion and suddenly disappear for 6 years and come back and be a massive, great detective. That's never going to happen. I'd love that to happen. Yeah. And so, any of this kind of type of thing, I think all I'm caring about is if it's an entertaining story. And if that point was in there and they had the bomb thing and it was just put in there for the sake of it putting in there, I have a problem with that. So that would be where it kind of joins out at me. So if it has something to do with storyline and builds to it, then I think it's I think that's I'm one of those people. I mean, but I'm in the majority, and Fortunately, I'm never going to be in that situation where I'm going to see us prejudiced in certain ways or me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, here's a book that starts, first 2 issues, really has no superpowers because he gets the costume, right, at the end of issue 0. Then he's he makes the mask, but he doesn't make any constructs yet because as you realize that the who bears the ring.
Yeah,
you know, it's about how they bear the construct. So that will probably come in his battle with the Justice League as to what kind of constructs he would make.
Yeah.
So I mean, on the one hand, there's that slow build, but
I think
it is about the story. The story is more important.
I think it'll be pretty safe as long as his constructs aren't like a copy of the Quran or sort of like or anything like that. If it's a big Quran, it's just kind of like slam.
You know what? Yeah.
It might be a bit of a problem there.
Yeah.
I'll give it sort of like its dues at that point.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Because you know his tattoo is supposed to be an Islamic tattoo, and it's supposed to mean courage, which I thought was really cool. But he still is an American who grew up, as you know.
Yeah,
so when people like you just said, if it's all start getting Egyptian and Islamic and stuff like that, you're kind of going, hold on for a second, man. You grew up on like French fries and hot dogs.
I think it's, you know, you've got to remember, this isn't the first time you've got Diana, Queen, Princess of Themyscira, which you know is based on an ancient religion further down the line. You've got when Superman first came out, he was very much a Christian. You know, he had those sorry, I take that back. He didn't necessarily have them. It was kind of like portrayed in a way. He never mentioned God in any way. It was kind of like going to that. And you know, you have characters in the past who sort of like have gone into religious things. The story shouldn't be about that. If the story's going to involve it, then it involves it too.
Well, I guess because he's Islamic, they have to have some kind of. They're trying to say that we're not going to ignore it. We're going to put all of this stuff in your face. So we're going to put the suicide bomber. We're going to put 9/11. We're going to put all that in. So that way we can ignore it later. But we want you to understand that this is where that character is coming from. He grew up after 9/11. That's what they're saying.
Which is a great thing. It's just a shame that the story, that the impact of the story is getting put behind the religion. But that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But
before we leave the 52, let's just finish off on
Superman. Let's get to the.
Well, I was going to get to Superman because I was going to get to the kiss, really. But you know, let's get to Superman and then the kiss. So. One of the great things that you were talking about, and you could talk about it, is the reboot of Superman with Action Comics. Because I thought that was an ingenious idea because he came out with Action Comics and Superman.
They came out at the same time, but 5 years apart.
So to establish that there was a 5-year gap, which they haven't really done before, you know, they're trying to say that these stories happened 5 years ago, and this story is happening in the present day.
Yeah.
And so Superman. For some reason, his mom didn't make a suit. And so he just kind of like, I'm working class hero. So even though it's 5 years ago, which means I think it's set in the, 80s, 90s?
No, it'd be 90s.
So, you know.
In fact, I think it was even 2000s.
Yeah, well, but what I'm trying to say is it looks like, you know, like the kind of working class hero, you know, with the rolled up jeans.
I call it the Bruce Springsteen years. Superman, the Bruce Springsteen.
Well, okay. Well, working class hero with Bruce Springsteen, but you're right. He does look like Bruce Springsteen and everything. So, I mean, fantastic.
I really liked it. And one thing that I really hated before the reboot was you had Action Comics and you had Superman and you had all these titles.
And they were all
running in parallel, but all kind of not really.
Well, it was from different perspectives.
Yeah,
and that right. It was all the same story, but in different perspectives.
And different ways. And what I like is that the Action Comics is sort of like separated. They're telling completely different stories that aren't even intruding on that. So you don't need to have read all of Action Comics to understand Superman and vice versa.
Right.
I like that whole thing. It gives it a bit more of an impact and makes it a lot more accepting. I just think that what they did with Superman is it sort of like hurt me when I first heard about it because I was the Christopher Reeve, you know, old Silver Age Superman.
Yeah.
You know, good. Stand up for Lois Lane.
Are you talking about when he like was hanging that guy off a roof?
No.
Oh, okay. What hurt you?
No, it was just the reboot and sort of like them getting rid of all that kind of like bit. I mean, and when they brought it in, Superman very much was kind of like it first hurt me in the Flashpoint when you first saw it. And it was like Superman had gone mental in that cage about it, and then when it came into it, I don't know, he lost that. There wasn't that goody kind of like thing about it with it, and he was flawed. He had little problems about it. He was more politically dissident than. Previously, you know, the previous Superman was very much I'm not getting involved, while this one was very much I am very to the far left, you know, it's sort of like so that kind of like aspect to it, which I thought flew in the face of something because you can't have a being that powerful having size. It's sort of like that kind of thing, and that worried me when I first heard about it.
But the thing about it is that they always ran into the problem with Superman. Like, at beginner's years.
Yeah.
You know, they always ran into the problem that this guy is God. He's just too powerful. So how can he get punched in the face and it hurts? You know, I mean, it's kind of like what I loved about the Justice League cartoon. You know, it's kind of like there was that scene where Superman's facing off against Darkseid, and he's like, you know, the reason why I, get hit in that feet, being in pain is because, I can't. Yeah. But really, come at me with a punch, and it's nothing. It's nothing. So you can't keep watching issue after issue. It's a guy can't be hurt.
Well,
so this flawed capacity is just their new way of trying to say, like, look, because he's new, he's not. I think he's not as solar charged as he will eventually be 5 years later.
In the 5 year, that's exactly it. And the action comics, it's kind of like when Superman first came out in the 1930s. You know, he couldn't fly. He jumped over buildings and stuff, and Kryptonite never even existed. And what happened in that thing, if you trace the history through, I don't know exact dates, but he went through they did the radio serial, and the radio things were like, look, we can't put this guy in peril, because anytime we put him in peril, it's just like,
Papa
Spike! And so they kind of like went, well, how about Kryptonite, there we go. There's a rock called Kryptonite.
Because it comes from Krypton?
Yeah, because it comes from Krypton, and it absorbs his radioactivity.
Makes sense.
So there'll be someone in the 90s who'll make a Wikipedia page. That's all.
Well, the crazy thing about that was the Silver Age, because then he said, look, I'm tired of this green kryptonite. He has it, he gets weak. So let's do this whole rainbow thing. Blue, pink, red, polka dot.
Yeah, but I mean, Jeff Jones did the exact same thing with Bloody Green Lanterns. So, like, story.
Well, first of all, no, he didn't do the bloody same thing because he really totally created a universe.
Yeah,
I was very sick of Green Lantern. I think everybody was, but it was kind of like saying, look, there's all kind of color spectrums here, and let's play with that. And he created a fantastic with Black Knight, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, so
don't get me wrong, I wasn't criticizing. I'm just saying that the whole multicolour is kind of like skeptical thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to get the
No, I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just saying the new kryptonite.
He's just saying, I'm just saying.
The new kryptonite that came into it, though, I thought it added a little bit of a spark to it, kind of like, because the only other way before it was magic. Magic is very weak against magic, and there's not that many magical characters in the DC universe who you kind of like goes up against.
Yeah.
You got to bring in special storylines and stuff like that to get it. Yeah. But anyone could get their hands on blue kryptonite and cause them to be mortal, or gold kryptonite, or red kryptonite and make it see.
But let's finish that off on like the goose to the gander, because as you already said, like everything's changed now in this reboot. He's not like working as a reporter for the Daily Planet. He's not with Lois. He's actually getting tagged.
Which just for the record, which Kevin Smith predicted in Morlaz. I don't know if you've seen Morlaz, I'm assuming.
Oh, Morlaz,
There's that whole speech where Brody's going on about Superman, how he can never have sex with Lois Lane because of.
Oh and the old joke about the
and the only person who'd be able to handle it was Wonder Woman. So I think.
See. The big thing here is that like there was the big kiss, and then there was the talk after the kiss. They had a talk afterwards.
That was always going to come. Kingdom Come was one. Not even Kingdom Come. Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight, Frank Miller's Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Strikes
Back. Which is on DVD right now.
Yeah, and Dark Knight Strikes Back, which is the sequel to it when Batman comes in and gets all the Justice League out. And have you read that one?
No. Dark Knight Strikes Back.
Because there's Dark Knight, which is, and at the end of it, there's Batman pumped up in the massive.
Yeah.
Well, the sequel to it, Dark Knight Strikes Back, is kind of like the continuation from there.
Who wrote that?
Frank Miller.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I remember it. I remember it now because it just seems like a cheesy ripoff, really. Like Empire Strikes Back. Well,
no, it's so much better than that. Because you got the whole story. There's a brilliant bit where Superman, he is going after Bruce Wayne. After the debacle from there, Bruce Wayne's freed the Atom and freed the Flash for everything and formed up the Justice League again. And Superman, he's been told by the president not to do it, and he flies in, and basically Batman's got fucking green arrow firing kryptonite freaking arrows. The atom goes into his ear, you know. Batman comes down and just trounces him into the ground. And right at the end of that, you find Wonder Woman comes up to him and sort of like gets him back, and then Wonder Woman's daughter appears, which is Wonder Woman, Superman's daughter. And she's mega powerful and stuff like that.
Really? I don't. No, you know what? He may have like stumped me because I don't actually remember reading that.
Dark Knight Strikes Back is a brilliant one. Just for, I think I love Superman.
Yeah.
There's something I love more than Superman, which is watching